it's time for the feature we call
Catholics!
I was hanging with the Catholics last night.
Oh, you got some intel?
Well,
Gina Barberi, of course, is our conduit to the Catholic community.
Secret Cabal.
Opus Dei, were you hanging with them?
No. My nephew Declan was having his confirmation last night. Confirmation is, okay, when you're baptized in the Catholic Church, your godparents stand up and say, do you reject Satan? And the godparents say, yes, we do. And
This is when you're an infant.
Yes.
So you're not capable of saying, yes, I reject Satan.
Yeah, but then when you're about 14, 15, 13, somewhere in there, you go through confirmation where you stand up for yourself and go, yeah, I reject Satan. He's not a good guy.
Can I remind you that your godparents said you reject Satan? Do you still reject Satan?
I remember that from The Godfather.
And it's a big deal in the Catholic Church, and the bishop.
Where do they have it? Like at the
It's at
Denny's, or
it was when he becomes the godfather to somebody's kid, and the priest says, "Do you reject Satan?" At that same time, all the murders that he ordered were happening.
yeah.
All the individual parishes do their own.
You don't do it like a chuckarama.
No, we were at St. Ambrose last night, and it's a big deal because the bishop comes to do it.
I thought you said this was Catholic stuff.
The
bishop of the ward?
No, the Catholic bishop.
Oh, Catholics have bishops too.
Yeah, Bishop Solis,
Oh.
who's just adorable. And I was sitting there I mean, I'm the resident Catholic, but I never go to mass. I don't. But,
Does Bishop Solis know this?
but I was sitting there, and I know patriotic isn't the right word for it, but I was feeling patriotic about the Catholic Church, just with everything going on with the Pope lately and him kind of sparring with President Trump.
You didn't stand up and rip your bodice and scream, "I love Pope Leo."
I
you?
didn't, but I was feeling that, and I know there's probably a word for when you feel that way about.
You were feeling overcome.
I'm like, yeah, Catholics. And there's a couple of different things that are going on in relation to that. So 60 Minutes on Sunday had a big interview with a bunch of the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops.
Okay.
Talking about what's going on with Trump kind of attacking Pope Leo.
Not kind of.
Here is what the Catholic bishops had to say about that. For over 1,000 years, the Catholic Church has taught just war theory, meaning there are just wars. There is such a thing as a just war. And it's that long tradition that the Holy Father carefully references in his comments on war. A constant tenet of what 1,000-year tradition is that a nation can only legitimately take up a sword in self-defense once all peace efforts have failed. That's when a war is just. Everything that Trump is saying about Pope Leo, he's soft on crime. He thinks nuclear weapons are great.
He's never said anything of the kind.
No, here are some of the things he said. Blessed are the peacemakers, but woe those who manipulate religion in the very name of God for their own military, economic, or political gain.
That, you could say, is taking the Lord's name in vain.
He's talked about immigration, talking about loving your neighbor, and that your neighbor is not just your next door neighbor, the country next door.
Every time that Pope opens his mouth, he proves how woke he is.
In recent weeks, Pope Leo has significantly sharpened his rebukes on the war in Iran, and the Trump administration is not happy about it. And this could have been a boner candidate. The Trump administration has abruptly canceled an $11 million federal contract that helps shelter and care for migrant children who enter the United States without a parent or legal guardian. So picture little tiny scared kid all by themselves showing up at the border. Catholic Charities is a charity that part of their mission is to help those children that show up at the border with no parents. Bring them in, find them a place to live, and take care of their health care issues.
You see why they call him Pope Snowflake, don't you?
Church officials say the sudden loss of funding could force the organization to end its operations tied to migrant children within the next 3 months. That's hideous.
Yeah.
Taking it out on little kids.
Little kids. Oh, it's hideous, but it's also what he does.
My favorite thing in all of this is J.D. Vance saying, the Pope really has to be careful what he says about theology.
Stay
in his
your
lane.
lane.
Because J.D. Vance knows theology better than the Pope.
Well, he's new to it. He's studied it. So he's written a book about his conversion. So clearly, he knows more than the Pope, who's studied most of his life.
It's just I don't understand. Trump posted another Jesus picture.
Oh boy.
Not him as Jesus.
No, it's a Jesus giving him a big hug.
That makes people angry when I do that. So instead of Jesus that way, I'll do it Jesus another way.
Yeah.
Jesus
is
look, it's Jesus giving me a big hug.
Jesus is with me.
It's Dr. Jesus right here.
Yeah, Dr. Jesus.
But the Catholics have been a lot of them voted for Trump. They did. But they're
Pope Leo's brother is apparently a Trump
Yeah.
supporter.
But they are turning on him because this new
Well,
pope
yeah.
is beloved by the church and
Particularly the fact that he's American. American Catholics are the ones voting, and many of them voted for Trump's policies. I think that may be turning around quickly.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just astounding to me that he thinks that he can pick a fight with
Anybody.
Pope.
Yeah, anybody, including the Pope.
Yeah, you can pick a fight with a news anchor, sure, things like that. But the Pope, you
And
think you can win that?
Well, and all the Pope is saying is, let's give peace a chance. How about that?
Yeah, that thing that Jesus talked
Yeah.
about. Oh, wait, you didn't read the New Testament. Oh, okay.
Well, it'll just be. I wonder. I wonder if it's not quite as high up as Trump can go in the things he attacks. I'm expecting him at some point to really just go hand to glove against either Jesus or Jehovah. I'm gonna box with God. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take God on next.
We're going to have a big ECW event in the steps of the White House, and I'm going to fight Jesus.
But the Bishop Solis was so adorable last night.
Adorable how?
Well, at the end of Mass, there were a bunch of little kids there. And, not only does the Pope wear a funny hat, but the bishop wears a funny hat.
Mm-hmm.
He was taking his hat off and letting kids wear it and take a picture with
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was so cute.
I'm trying to picture that.
So cute.
If you do that, they'll stay Catholics.
Well, I think it's inspirational. Like, oh, you mean I could be?
Well, this
the
hat
bishop
isn't blocking the sun or anything.
I could be the bishop someday.
Yeah.
But it was a nice evening. Then my sister and her husband took me out for Mexican food after. So that's also very Catholic.
Like Catholics do.
thing to
Hand
do.
grenade.
Pie Jesu Domine, dona eis requiem. Pie Jesu Domine, dona eis requiem.
That was audio from the meeting,
Yeah.
actually.
So does all them Muslims in your family? They just pretend they don't know you when you do this.
The Muslims are the other side of the family.
Catholics.
And my father-in-law, one of his favorite things was on Christmas Eve, he would stay up. My father-in-law was Muslim. He would stay up and watch the midnight mass from the Vatican that they broadcast every year.
Really?
He loved it.
So just like the pretty colors and stuff.
The fancy hats and everything.
Speaking of Muslims and Catholics, I saw something else today where people were, because this is the woke Pope.
Yeah.
Yeah. Snowflake Pope.
We're saying, I can't believe he let them build a prayer room, an Islamic prayer room at the Vatican. And a bishop commented on that and said, there's a prayer room there because
Yes.
So even bishops make that noise that
Yeah.
women make when they're being.
When they're being. Yeah.
said that the Vatican Library is open to scholars of all kinds.
Yeah.
And if you're a Muslim scholar, you got to pray 5 times a day.
So what you're saying is there's always been a prayer room there?
No, it's a recent addition, but that they have a place where they can go where they're not going to disrupt people by just stopping in the middle of the library.
There's always been an opportunity for them to go someplace
Yes,
private
yes,
and
but-
pray.
And pray.
This is just a new addition.
Yeah, like, well, why don't we give you a little private space where you? Why would the Catholic Church allow? Because they're
Some of the Muslims were complaining that they were getting tired of doing it in the men's room next to the urinal.
I mean, probably there's part of
I have
that.
to go into the stall to do it.
It's okay. You can have your religion and still be kind to other religions.
This just in, J.D. Vance says that Colonel Sanders should be more careful when talking about fried chicken.
Did you? Where did I see it at the movie? That Colonel Sanders commercial where he's
I don't know.
dancing and doing magic and.
I don't know.
Doing magic?
I'll have
Magic
to look
chicken?
this up now. Where did I see it?
And Cement Dave, not being a Catholic, is curious. Does a bishop's mitre act like the Sorting Hat in Harry Potter?
Oh yeah,
Sort of.
Yeah, it talks.
Kind of, yeah.
It talks.
Tells you what order you're going to be.
That's what I'm
in.
worried about, is what it's going to say to me.
Somebody says, as a resident Catholic listener, growing up Catholic made me liberal.
Because he paid attention to what they
'cause
were
I
teaching.
listened.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
Catholics!
you should just be. It's basically be nice to people.
Yeah.
Be nice to people.
Yeah. Well, they leave those parts out.
Yeah,
You know.
let's be nice. To people.
Oh, it's the Colonel Sanders I was talking about. There's a new commercial. It's called Colonel Sanders, the finger licking machine.
That sounds
Stop
not.
that.
They
It-
shouldn't do that.
That's not real.
It's pretty funny actually.
All right.